Welcome to Real English Voices, the podcast where you learn English the natural way.
Welcome to the deep dive. If you're listening to this, you're ready to take a big step forward in your English speaking.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is a very special deep dive, one we've made just for you, the beginner English learner. Our mission today, to dive into real English voices and help you speak with more confidence and, more natural rhythm.
Exactly. We're focusing on two main things today. First, some short, everyday stories about feelings.
Okay.
And second, a really key technique called shadowing.
Shadowing.
This is probably the fastest way to improve your English fluency. That means how easily and smoothly you speak.
Right.
And also making your pronunciation sound, well, more natural, more native-like.
Okay, let's unpack that shadowing technique a bit, because this is really where the magic happens, I think.
It is.
Shadowing is simple,
Right.
but it's very powerful. So when we tell a story, we'll say a sentence. Your job, listening right now, is to try and repeat that sentence immediately after us, like an echo.
Yeah, like an echo.
But, and this is important, you aren't just repeating the words.
No.
You need to copy our speed, our tone, the feeling, the emotion we put into those words.
Exactly. When you practice shadowing, you're basically teaching your mouth and your ears how English sounds.
Right.
How it sounds when someone is happy or worried or maybe proud.
Got it.
And our sources today are these short narratives. They're filled with really useful vocabulary you can use every single day.
And we promise we'll speak slowly and clearly for you.
Nice and clear.
Listen closely. And remember, it's about progress, not perfection. It's okay if it's not perfect.
Definitely.
If you need to pause the audio to repeat, please go ahead and do that. Okay.
Absolutely. Take your time.
Right. Let's jump in.
Okay.
Let's start with a simple story. It's about a typical morning, but it had a surprising turn. Listen carefully now to how the speaker describes their mood, and then try to copy the feeling in your voice.
Okay, here's the first part. Yesterday I woke up and the sun was shining.
Nice start.
I felt very happy when I saw the bright blue sky.
Okay, we need to hit pause right there. That first feeling, happy. It's so important.
Yes.
When someone is happy, their voice often goes up a little, right? A bit brighter.
It lifts.
So listeners, try repeating that line now. Copy that bright sound. I felt very happy.
Nice. And that first sentence also gives us a great descriptive verb, shining. When
yeah.
the sun is shining, it means it's bright, there's strong light. It feels very positive, doesn't it?
It does.
Think of it like you're painting the light with your voice. The light from the sun is shining. Try saying that.
Okay, now the story continues and the mood changes. Quite quickly, actually, with a phone call. Listen for that shift in tone.
Okay. Later, I got a phone call from my friend.
Mm-hmm.
She told me some sad news about her job.
Oh, dear.
I felt worried because she was upset.
Okay, that line definitely had a heavier sound. She told me some sad news.
Yes, you can hear the change.
When you shadow that sentence, you really need to bring that sort of emotional weight into your voice.
That's right.
And the next feeling we meet is worried.
Worried. Such a useful word. It means feeling nervous about a problem, maybe a difficult situation.
Right.
And notice how when you say worried, naturally, your voice usually drops a little. It gets a bit lower. We don't say it happily.
No, definitely not. That emotional intonation, that's a really key insight for shadowing.
Yeah.
Like you said, if you use a happy voice to say, I'm worried, well,
Just sounds wrong.
exactly, the meaning is lost. We also heard a wonderful action phrase in there. I tried to cheer her up.
Ah, yes, cheer her up. This
Yeah.
means you intentionally try to make a sad person feel happy again.
It's a nice thing to do.
It's an act of friendship, really. Like, maybe I bought her a gift to cheer her up. It shows you care.
And sentences like that are so vital for everyday conversation, aren't they?
Absolutely.
Okay, let's see how the evening ended for the speaker and her friend. This part introduces two very important positive feelings we use often.
Yeah.
Proud and grateful.
Okay, here's how it went. In the evening, we met for dinner at her favorite restaurant. When I saw her smile, I felt very proud of her. We talked and laughed together for hours.
Okay, let's focus on proud. This is interesting. Many English learners think proud only means feeling good about yourself, right?
That's common.
But here, it's about feeling satisfaction for someone else. The speaker felt proud that her friend was strong enough to smile, even after hearing bad news.
That's a great point. It's often used externally, looking outwards. We might say to you, the listener, I am proud of your hard work learning English.
Yes, it's an encouragement word.
It is. So try shadowing that sentence now. I felt very proud of her. Feel that warmth for someone else.
Good advice. And the story ends on a note of, well, deep appreciation. At the end of the day, I felt grateful for my friends.
Grateful. That's an excellent wording.
Yeah.
It's often stronger than just saying thankful.
Right.
It means you really appreciate something or someone. You feel deep thanks inside. When you feel grateful, you feel thank you, but maybe more intensely.
Yeah, more intensely. That's a good way to put it. This segment also gave us some great practice for describing actions. Could you repeat those detailed sentences about the evening walk again? They're really excellent for practicing longer, connected phrases.
Certainly. Listen for the flow, how the words connect.
Yeah.
After dinner, we walked slowly through the city streets.
Okay.
The light from the shops made everything look so beautiful.
Nice imagery.
We stopped at a small cafe to have some dessert.
Dessert.
We ordered a slice of chocolate cake and a cup of tea.
Perfect. Notice, everyone listening, how all those sentences are connected by the story.
Yes.
When you shadow them, practice linking the words together smoothly. Try not to stop too much between each word. That linking. That's how we achieve fluency.
Exactly. It's about flow.
Fantastic. Okay, now let's move on to part 3. Here, we visit 2 very different places. First, an art museum, and then a new city. And these locations bring out quite different, sometimes contrasting feelings, which is perfect for practicing different tones of voice.
Definitely. Okay, listen to the museum story first. And think, what kind of voice would you use if you were looking at a masterpiece? Something amazing.
Good question.
Last Saturday, I visited a new art museum in the city.
Okay.
When I entered the museum, I felt amazed by the beautiful paintings and sculptures.
Amazed.
Some paintings made me feel very calm.
Right. When you feel amazed, your voice tends to stretch the sound a bit, doesn't it? It's like, wow. A high level of surprise and wonder.
It is. Try saying that word now. Amazed. Feel the wonder.
And then we have the opposite, almost. Calm.
Yes, calm. It means quiet, relaxed, peaceful. So the feeling of calm in your voice should reflect that. It should be steady, maybe a bit slow. Like the example, the quiet lake made the speaker feel calm.
Yeah, a calm voice for calm feeling. Makes sense. The speaker also mentioned feeling nostalgic when looking at the art.
Nostalgic. That's maybe a bit of a deep dive word.
It is a bit more complex.
It's not just happy or sad. It's that mix of both when you think about happy memories from the past, maybe from your childhood or holidays.
Right.
It requires a bit of practice because the concept itself is complex, just like the feeling.
Right.
Your voice might sound a little softer, maybe thoughtful.
Okay. Now let's contrast that quiet reflection with the excitement of a big life change. Moving to a new city.
Big change indeed. Okay, here's that part. Last year, I decided to move to a new city. At first, I felt very excited about this big change.
Okay, high energy there.
But I also started to feel a little nervous and lonely.
See? 3 contrasting emotions right there in one sentence.
Exactly.
Excited is high energy, like you said. You're ready to start something new, so your speed should probably be a little faster when you shadow that part. Very excited.
No, it has a buzz. But then the speed slows down for nervous and lonely.
Right.
Nervous means feeling worried about the future, maybe a little scared.
Yeah.
And lonely. Well, that's feeling isolated, missing your connections, your friends or family.
So when you shadow those, make sure your voice sounds maybe a little hesitant, a little quieter on those words.
Yes, reflect the feeling. That's the key.
The great news, though, is the final feeling change. Show that resolution, how it turned out.
Okay. Now, after several months, I feel more confident in my new city.
Confident, that's a great feeling. It means you feel sure of yourself, ready to handle challenges. Think of that word as having strength in your voice when you shadow it. Confident. Stand tall when you say it.
It's a good image.
That's the kind of tone you want to achieve for successful shadowing. Matching the feeling.
Exactly.
Okay, for our final story, we take a trip to the mountains.
Oh, lovely.
This story is perfect because it shows again how quickly a mood can change. From happy and relaxed to challenged, and then finally to a feeling of peace.
Okay, here we go. Last weekend, I went on a short trip to the mountains.
Just nice.
On the way there, we drove through beautiful green countryside, and I felt so happy and relaxed.
Classic positive feelings.
But then, the situation changed. Dramatically. Listen to the sound of the word for this change. Later, the weather changed suddenly, and a strong storm came.
A storm, yeah. Heavy rain, thunder, wind. It's usually loud, and it can make people feel a bit uncomfortable, right?
Definitely.
So when you shadow that line, the word storm should sound like a sudden, strong event. maybe a bit louder or faster.
Good point. And because of that strong change, the speaker felt a challenging emotion.
Listen, I must admit I felt a little anxious and uneasy, even though we were safe indoors.
Anxious. Now, that's often stronger than just worried, isn't it?
Yes, it's feeling highly uneasy, almost scared sometimes, even if there's no immediate danger right there.
It's a very common feeling word when describing stressful situations. So remember, put that tension into your voice when you practice shadowing this sentence. Feel a little anxious.
But they didn't just sit there feeling anxious. They worked together to make the best of it.
Ah, good.
To make the best of the situation, we cooked dinner together and played games.
Nice. Making the best of it. The warm light inside and the sound of our laughter helped me feel cozy and grateful, even with the storm outside.
Cozy. Oh, that's such a classic English word.
It is lovely, isn't it?
It means warm, comfortable, safe, like you're sheltered and happy inside. Try repeating that one, listeners. I felt so cozy.
It feels nice just saying it.
It does. And finally, the resolution. When the storm passed.
As I stood outside the next morning looking at the mountains in the distance, I felt a strong sense of peace.
Peace. That lovely feeling of quiet happiness, no stress. Looking at those quiet mountains brought the speaker peace. It's a reflective feeling. It probably needs a gentle, steady voice when you shadow it.
That sounds right. A calm ending.
Wow. We have covered so much today. We practiced feelings like happy, worried, proud, grateful, anxious, and peace. So many useful words.
We did. And we also covered everyday actions that connect those feelings to, well, to daily life. Things like woke up, phone call, met for dinner, walked slowly, visited a museum, and cooked dinner.
These are the sentence foundations really for true fluency, using the feelings and the actions together.
Absolutely. And the key takeaway, the main thing to remember is this. Don't just learn the definitions of the words. Learn the sound and the rhythm of the emotion behind the word.
Yes, that is the secret of shadowing.
It really is. Listen to this deep dive again. Pause it. Try to repeat us, focusing specifically on the tone we used for each feeling word. Happy, worried, proud.
Great advice. Okay, we have 3 simple questions for you now. They're based directly on the stories we just heard. This is your chance to use those specific words right now. Ready?
Okay, question number 1. In the first story, what kind of weather made the speaker feel happy in the morning? What was the word?
Think back. The answer was simple. The sun was shining. Did you get it?
Hope so. Okay, question number 2. What important positive feeling did the speaker feel when her friends smiled at dinner? Remember, she felt something for her friends.
She felt proud. Yeah, she felt proud of her friend's strength.
Excellent. And the final question, what word means feeling very thankful, maybe even stronger than just thankful?
That wonderful word is grateful. Did you remember grateful?
Well done if you got those. You did a great job today identifying those key words and, importantly, connecting them to the emotional context in the stories.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep practicing those sentences and the technique of shadowing. It really works.
It does.
And maybe, we encourage you to notice the sounds of English around you this week. If you hear someone speaking English, listen. Do they sound excited or maybe worried? Try to copy their tone, maybe just quietly to yourself. That active observation, that listening, is how you take this knowledge and really apply it in the real world.
That's a fantastic final tip. Thank you so much for joining this deep dive on Real English Voices.
Keep practicing your English, keep listening, keep shadowing.
And we look forward to sharing more insights with you again soon. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.